Hare Krishna, good morning, everyone, or evening if you're on the other side of the globe. Great to see you all. Hare Krishna Niha, thanks for coming. Yogadish, I liked what you put up, that sampling of answers. Was that what it was? Hare Krishna Tulsi, Hare Krishna Arjun, Hare Krishna Bhakta Justin, Ardya, Sukeshwari, Ambarish, Sadhu's here, Avanish, Marjorie Radhe, Hare Krishna, all the way on the East Coast. And Balaram. Fantastic. Thanks for coming, Balaram. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is great. And welcome to Japa Jolt. I just got some more iterations yesterday from Anukul Seva of a really nice logo. It's coming along. This morning, I was listening to a lecture of Prabhupada, and he was speaking about the beginning of any spiritual practice is learning to control the senses. And he talked about how the senses want to do something. They say, please do this. And because you've received an order from Krishna, from your spiritual master, then you say, no, not now. I have something else I have to do by the order of superior order. And then Prabhupada said, this is tapasya. You don't just give in to the senses because they're always demanding. And one of our acharyas has described the senses as bad masters. They are connected with the material world. What do they know? They just go on and on and on, asking for inferior engagement. So Krishna says in the Gita, Evam buddhi param buddhvasam stabhyatmanamat jahishatra mahabaho kamarupa darasadam. You have to, he tells Arjuna, conquer the lower self by the higher self. It means you have to have an intelligence that I'm following Krishna, and even though the senses want to go somewhere else, including the mind, because the intelligence is above the mind, then I still follow what Krishna said to do. So that's one side to remember. And Krishna says in the Gita, I was remembering in relationship to that in 4:30:31, O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life, what then of the next? That's in relationship with Krishna's describing the various ways people make some sacrifice in order to elevate themselves. On another side, most people don't have anywhere to take their senses. That is, if you just try to restrain the senses, eventually they'll conquer because they don't have superior engagement. So we do have superior engagement. We may not have realized it yet, and that's a tricky period because when you're in the interim, as mentioned in the Bhagavatam, you may still have a taste for the inferior engagement, and you don't yet have a taste for the superior engagement. So you're in the middle, and you're using your intelligence to go for the superior engagement. But param drishva nivartate, if you can taste something of the superior engagement and get a little sample, that it reinforces your idea or your determination that I'm going to do this tapasya based on the order of Krishna. So Krishna's a person. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not different from his name. Krishna, as you all know, is unlimitedly powerful, and he's unlimitedly merciful at the same time. So this is the best kind of yoga. It's to control the senses by chanting Krishna's names and endeavoring to develop a mood of service to Krishna and praying to him, please give me superior engagement in your service. I don't want the lower stuff. We've already figured it out. And that's why I really appreciate that you're all here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. If you hadn't figured it out, that the material world's a lost cause, actually. We engage in it. We have to go through what we have to do and do due diligence. But we already know it's it's not the ultimate goal of life. We're just doing our time here. Our real purpose is to go back to Godhead. So in that mood, we can just keep praying to Krishna. Please let me serve you. I don't want to serve my senses. I don't want to serve the material world. And let's start off with the Uttashruti, and we'll just distance ourselves from the concept that I'm my body. And just please follow along behind muted mics and meditate on this as we say it. I am by nature the eternal servant of Krishna, but by misfortune, due to being inimical towards him since a time immemorial, I have been wandering within the cycle of birth and death in the material world, being burnt by the threefold miseries. Now, as a result of some unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of my spiritual master, I know that I am an infinitesimal living being, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. Now, by the order of my spiritual master, I have obtained the good fortune of serving his lotus feet, as well as the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar, whichever deities you're very attached to. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, nor am I a Brahmachari, a householder, a Vanaprastha, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. Take a moment now to just close your eyes and slow down your mind and take a few measured breaths. A 5-count exhale, 5-count inhale. And in your mind, as you exhale, say the first part of the Maha Mantra. As you inhale, say the second part. And just bring your mind to focus using your breath and the Maha Mantra. You may not be able to count at the same time as you chant the Maha Mantra in your mind, but just say the first half of the mantra, the second half, one inhale, one exhale, but just be aware that you're controlling your attention and you can bring it to the Maha Mantra at any time. A couple more breaths, please. And then make a sankalpa, a declarative statement to Krishna. He's a person, he's listening right now. My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, my dear Srimati Radharani, if you so desire, please engage me in your service. Thank you for considering my request. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. What a relief, right? The material world is just so much nonsense. Everything's missing the mark because we got no business here in the material world. So when we're able to just connect directly with Krishna, then we feel happy. And if you don't feel happy in the moment, then you will later. You'll thank yourself in the morning. So let's hear any of the research you've been doing, Yogadish, anything you have on that side, and then we'll take a few reflections. Tell us what we want. Huh?
You mentioned research.
Well, what was that you had up in the beginning? Where did you get that?
I can share it again. Yeah, so this is some of the responses we got from the Google form that we sent out last week in the WhatsApp group. It was asking devotees to list out the different reasons they chant. Um, Most of the responses were individual. There were no repeats. There was one that was repeated, which was to calm myself in the mind. Therefore, it's a bit bigger and centered in the middle.
Tulsi, could you read them out?
Krishna. For mercy, to please my spiritual master, to communicate with Krishna, to connect to Krishna and his holy name, to calm myself and mind, to realize the temporary nature of the material world, to repair my relationship with Krishna, to deepen my spiritual practice, to please Krishna, and because I have to.
So why do we have to? Could somebody explain that one, why you have to? Whether you wrote it or not, give an interpretation. Sadhu Vrindavan, go ahead.
I was reading the Ishopanishad, and Prabhupada in the purport, he says that whoever does not use this life to attain Krishna is also the killer of the soul. He says that, I think, in the third verse is purport. So we have to use this life to do devotional service, and we can attain Krishna only by chanting the holy name. So
That's a
yeah.
nice quotation. You don't want to kill your soul. Poor soul, dying inside. And so what does it mean to kill the soul? Just like somebody, they have a good career and then they kill their career by either not showing up or taking intoxication or whatever. And then somebody says, you just killed your whole career. You ruined your reputation and so forth. And the soul's part and parcel of Krishna. It's supposed to be in the spiritual world. And then if you kill that opportunity that we have when we're in the human body, it's called killing the soul. And who knows when you're going to get the opportunity again. So every breath we take, when we're able to say Hare Kṛṣṇa and the mantra when coming out, when breathing out, then it's life. It's reconnecting with Krishna. And it feels so good because it's fulfilling the real purpose of life. All the other stuff is just details. All the other life situations that we go through, get sick, get well, get all these friends and lose the friends, have a family, lose a family, you get mother, father, then you lose a mother, father. All that stuff is superfluous to our real existence. But the real thing is our relationship with Krishna, who's a person. And I was just reading last night with Nirkula about Shrutadev and Bahulasva. You can go back to the other screen. And then there's a way that they lived far away in Mithila. Krishna was in Dwarka, but then Krishna recognized that they were sincere. That's it. And then he got on his chariot, he brought all these sages and went all the way over there to Mithila to visit both of them. And he did it simultaneously. And why did he do it? Because, well, they liked him and they were sincere. So he went to see him. So he's like that with everybody. And if we're just sincere and we just like Krishna and we think chanting Hare Krishna is a much better idea than doing all the other stupid nonsense that's out there in the world that doesn't lead to anything. Even people who are sincere about doing philanthropy, like, oh, I'm taking care of the homeless or whatever, it just misses the mark because they have no idea that Krishna is the root of everything and Krishna can help people, but we can't. So it just takes our attention and puts it right in the exact right slot. And that's why it feels so good to chant. I'm talking so much. Let's take a couple more reflections from any of the devotees who want to express themselves today. Declare your independence from Maya and dependence on Krishna or whatever you feel like. Express yourselves. I'll count down from 5 minutes. I'm going to start calling on people. 5, 4, 3. Okay. Go ahead, Manasi Ganga. Good to see you.
Hare Krishna, very much. So yesterday I was reading the spiritual yoga book, and when I was reading the second text, I was meditating upon this in the morning as well while I was doing Japa here. So it says like the human body is like a junction, and we may either take the path of liberation or the hellish condition. So I was contemplating on how I was not inattentively chanting, and even though Krishna gives his holy names, allows me to chant, but I'm not still focusing on it. Was just reflecting on this one line of Srila Prabhupada's purport in the second verse.
Thank you very much, Manasi Ganga. You must be like right over the highway there somewhere.
Yeah, it's chaotic in Mumbai.
Okay. That's the name of your new novel called Chaotic in Mumbai. You can make it into a movie later. Tulsi, what do you got?
Hare Krishna Gurudev. I had this conversation with my mom a couple of days ago, but I think I've been reflecting on it since then, which is that she was talking about how every stage of your life you think that you'll be happy in the next. So it's like, okay, when I was younger, I was like, oh, if I just get this, then like if I just get this degree, if I just get this grade, then I'll be happy. And then it goes into like, oh, getting married and then having kids and then going on. And it's just like she was talking about how like she spent her whole life thinking that she'd get happy by just moving on to the next phase, and it just never really happened for her. And so she was talking about, of course, expanding on this, and she's like, the material world, there's no happiness. And so I thought about that, and I was like, okay, I haven't lived as long as my mom, clearly, but in the years that I have been in this body, I've realized how much of that is already true. And I'm under the illusion that, oh, I still have the rest of my life. Like, it'll get better, it'll get better. And it just doesn't. And so, as long as I'm under that illusion, then I'll just keep thinking that I have, the time or the space to make it quote unquote better. I'll be happier. But the sooner as I realize that that's not going to be the case, the better off I'll be.
Nice, spoken like a true yogi, and what a good mom. Thank you very much, Tulsi. A reminder that happiness is right now in the moment when we're connected to Krishna. Madhuri Radhe.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. One thing that you said in the beginning really stuck out to me when you were talking about the senses and their desires, and you were saying, what do they know? And I was like, wait, yeah, what do they know? Why am I listening to them all the time and trying to satisfy them? What do they even know? And so then today in my japa, I was trying to focus on the prayer because I know this in theory, but it's hard to put into practice sometimes. So I was meditating, just praying to Krishna, like, please give me the strength to stand up to my senses, because what do they know? And just help me and remind me that pleasing you is the only thing that's actually going to make me happy.
Thanks, Madhuri Radhe. And even if you just know it theoretically, but you have that sincere desire, you're still a great soul because you show up for this. And that's the tapasya. Even before we have immersion or we're experiencing this pull towards the higher level, when you have the sincerity and somehow you have momentum because of some bhakti sukriti in your heart, that you're still counted amongst the saints. So just keep that position, stay there, and keep climbing. Because in the material world, as they say, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging and climb out. Tulsi. Oh, somebody else had their hand up, and then you have a star on your wall or something, and it looks like a hand up. Okay, well, one thing is that Krishna is a person. It's not one thing, it's the thing. Krishna is a person. He's the supreme person. And just know that his senses are perfect. And because his senses are perfect, he knows exactly what your sincerity is. And he's not like an ordinary person who may know or may not know. He knows. And you can offer yourself to Krishna sincerely at any time. And the best way to stay connected with him is through the Hare Kṛṣṇa Maha Mantra, because it follows the Guru Paramparā. It's the recommended process. The dosage is already set up. If you want to increase your dosage and get all the way up to 16 and stay on that medication through your life, you're going to get well. And you're going to get better than well. You're going to rise to the highest level. So everything else goes on in the material world as if mechanical. We do the best we can there. It always goes sideways, whatever you do, but the holy name is always there for us, and it's always perfect, and Krishna is always perfect. So just think of Krishna, and remember, he's a person, always a person. He's got unlimited energies, and he comes to us directly in person in his holy name. No diminishment of his absolute personality, fully present in his holy name, and keep the transcendental vibration going. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, if you so desire, please give us sincere desire to please you and let us chant Hare Kṛṣṇa constantly. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. We're leaving for India in several hours. And so we'll see some of you over there. I'm going to try to check in to the Japa Jolt whenever possible. In the meantime, please keep it going and take care of yourselves. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Vanchakalptaruscha kripasindhave cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thanks everybody. Hare Kṛṣṇa.